Hello to the world and to the kingdom citizens. I greet you in the precious holy name of Yeshua HaMashiach, Yeshua Messiah, who said in his word, John 8:32, and ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. Hi, I'm Dr. John Curry, and welcome to the embassy of the kingdom of heaven on earth. If you want to follow this podcast, please subscribe to JC Global Embassy TV1. Ring the bell, hit the thumbs up button. Today's message is entitled, Blacks Must Get Off of the American Hamster Wheel of Gradualism and Build Our Own Black Nation. Yes, blacks must get off of the American hamster wheel of gradualism and build our own black nation. To all black people in America and throughout the diaspora, we have been on America's psychological perpetual hamster wheel of gradualism far too long. It's time for us to heal ourselves and build our own black nation. We have been doing a lot of protesting, marching, much movement with very slow progress. We've allowed ourselves to be injected with the tranquilizing drug of gradualism, Novocaine. And gradualism simply says, just give us more time and we can work it out. Give us more time, as they say, some to our white counterparts. Just give us more time and we can work it out. But gradualism for 400 years later, we'll still tranquilize with the drug of gradualism. We'll still tranquilize, still trying to figure out which way we're going to go. And as a result of that, we're still stuck in the same place too long. Also, with the continuation of the injection of social Novocaine, that is supposed to help us deal with the 400 years of pain. How many of you know it ain't working? This Novocaine is gradualism. Gradualism also allows us to be able to deal with things called tolerance, where the white man can just tolerate us. Then he likes to have us to go through diversity classes so we can teach him what he's been doing to us and against us for the last 400 years. Then we get out on the street. Soon as something bad happened to us, we sing these songs, No Justice, No Peace. And not only sing No Justice, No Peace, but blacks people have been working No Justice, No Peace. And then we sing songs such as We Shall Overcome. My answer to that is when? When are we going to overcome the tyranny of white supremacy in America? We have had decades of discussion on race relation. For what? It doesn't appear that white males want to show up, and when they do show up, they say, why can't you guys just get over it? We've had pulpit exchanges, black pastors going to white churches, preaching to them, as well as white pastors going to black churches, preaching to them. We talked about inclusion. What does it mean to be included? We talked about race relation. We did a lot of teaching and studying on integration with no reparation. All of these can function as stimuli, which simply means it can get us hyped up to start to think that things are getting better. But soon as we move and see that things doesn't get better, we can soon and quickly move into a depression where it begins to deal with our brain. And there is a problem when it comes to our brain because we begin to think that there are no real solutions for this pain that black people are going through in plantation America. And I believe what takes place many times is that as blacks, our tendency is that we want so much to be able to get along with everybody until we just stay on the wheel. As blacks, while we are on this perpetual hamster wheel of marching and protesting all over the globe against racial injustice of our people, especially on plantation America, I find it very, very interesting to note that it appears that every time we look up, we got to go out and basically tell the white man how he's been treating us. We got to give him lectures on how bad he's been treating us and the wrong that he's been doing to us. So we've been doing that. We, black pastors get together and go out and march and we sing songs, We Shall Overcome. But we don't see many white pastors. In fact about it, if you look at it from this direction, If America is a Christian nation, why don't all white pastors and ministers and white Christians come together and say, you know what? The Christian thing to do is to do the right thing for black people because they've been in bondage for 400 years. Why can't white people just do the right thing? That's the question. That's the question. What's holding white Christians back, white Christian judges back? What's holding white Christian pastors back? I would suggest to you what's really holding them back is the fact that many of them are white supremacists. You see, you have to be a Christian to be a Ku Klux Klan member. You have to be a Christian in order to be a part of the far right. You have to be a Christian in order to be able to be in positions of power, such as Supreme Court justices and federal judges all over the country. When you are a Christian, you can get put in those positions. And what that is for black people, that's a continuation of on the wheel. Let's go back to 1619 to 2020. That's 400 years later. We're still on the wheel. But let's give a breakdown. The 1700, the brainwashing of slaves on the wheel. 1705, a law declaring slaves as animals or property on the wheel. 1712, a man by the name of Willie Lynch, who was a master slave trainer. He trained slaves how to go against themselves in order to be able to love all white and hate all black. That's on the wheel. 1776, the Declaration of Independence was written without slaves in mind on the wheel. And the words reads, it says, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they're endowed by their creator with certain inalienable rights, and that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. When the Declaration of Independence was written in 1776, blacks was considered to be animals, and is all on the wheel. 1778, the 3/5 clause defined blacks as property on the wheel. 1787, the U.S. Constitution was written without slaves in mind. That's still on the wheel. 1861 through 1865, the Civil War, was fought and won, and the Emancipation Proclamation was signed, and it was still on the wheel. The point I'm trying to get across to you, if white Christians and white people wanted to do the right thing, why are we here yet 400 years later and nothing has changed? It's all on the wheel. Let me give you more. After slavery, there's a thing called Juneteenth. And the reason why we have Juneteenth, because those slave owners in Texas did not want to subscribe to what was given by law saying slaves are free. So what happened after slavery? We get the 13th Amendment on the wheel. The 13th Amendment simply says that we're ending slavery. 13th Amendment. You got to amend the Constitution because you did not want slavery to end. This is the utopia of white supremacy. They want to keep blacks as slaves forever. Okay. 1865, we have the Black Code. That's on the wheel. We go to 1867, Reconstruction on the wheel. We got 1868, the 14th Amendment finally granted citizenship rights for black people. Okay, you're a slave, which you're considered not to be a human being. And then you ended up getting 13th Amendment, that is to get you out of slavery. 14th Amendment is to give you citizenship rights. All of that's on the wheel. Why is it taking so long for white people to do the right thing? Why is it taking so long for white Christians in these lily white churches to do the right thing concerning black people? We get to the 15th Amendment. The 15th Amendment, that was in 1870, and that amendment granted voting rights. Why are we still fighting to vote? Why are white people still blocking black people and other people from voting? It's because they know they can't win if it's a fair fight. 1885, colonialism in Africa on the wheel. Now, why is that important to us as blacks? Because when they had the Berlin Conference of the Congo, they was talking about going into Africa and basically carving Africa up to separate blacks from blacks by using divide and conquer strategies. And to this day, the continent is still separated. So colonialism in Africa, right after we got out of slavery in 1865, 63 to 65, they went right over to Africa. The Europeans and the European Unions and all of those white nations went over there and carved up Africa. Roughly 20 years later, in order to keep black people in slavery. But it's all on the will. 1906, we have the Ku Klux Klan, 4 million strong. Also in 1906, we have a brother by the name of William E. Seymour that was healing the sick, raising the dead, opening up the blinded eyes, making the lame to walk, the deaf to hear, and the dumb to talk, all in the midst of white supremacy. Then we go to Rosewood, and then from Rosewood, we go all the way to not just Rosewood, but Tulsa, Oklahoma. Every time black folks try to raise themselves up in nation build, white people get jealous and want to keep us down. And I tell you right now, that time is up. That time is over. It's time for us to get off of America's hamster wheel of gradualism and build our own black nation. As Malcolm said, by any means necessary. It's all on the wheel. 1909 to 1916, NAACP was moving. Then we have 1920, the Harlem Renaissance on the wheel. We have 1948, Harriet Tubman in segregation, in segregation, finally ended up desegregating for the armed service on the wheel. 1954, the Civil Rights Movement started on the wheel. 1954 again, Brown versus Board of Education on the wheel. Segregation ended in school. 1956, Emmett Till on the wheel. 1955, Rosa Parks, Montgomery bus boycott on the wheel. 1963, the March on Washington. Now, what does all this mean? Every time you look up, everything we do is still on the wheel. Why can't the white man just do the right thing? Why do we have to keep going through the same old silly stuff in order to be able to get our freedom in America? I'm coming to the conclusion I've been to the conclusion that the white man just do not want black people to get our due, because if we get our due, what is he going to do? I firmly believe that most whites, or many whites in America, don't know how to rule. They don't know how to govern. The only way they know how to govern is by killing people. They're used to totalitarianism. Which simply says might is right. Totalitarianism or jingoism. Jingoism says might is right. Totalitarianism says dealing with the state rule things, and your politician rule things. But white people in general, or shall I say white Christians, want totalitarianism, might is right. They want jingoism, might is right. They want anything that can keep black folks down, because when black folks begin to elevate themselves, they begin to see that they don't have much to do. But it's all on the wheel. Black folks in America and throughout the diaspora, we must get off of America's perpetual hamster wheel of gradualism and build our own black nation. Be it here in America or be it on the continent of Africa, it's time for us to heal and build our own black nation. You see, while on the perpetual wheel of plantation America, we still have white masters that love to come by black churches every 4 years. That's what I said, white masters that love to come by black churches every 4 years. And why they're coming? They come every 4 years to see how the slaves are doing. Well, how do they know that? They know that through dealing with black pastors. Those black pastors is going to tell them if everything's all right, if everything's not all right. So they come to see how the slaves are doing, and then to see how their wicked policies are working for black people. In other words, they already know what they're doing is wicked, so they come by to see how effective those wicked policy is. And what we find many times that some of our people, some of our black pastors, sometimes have a tendency to want to get along with the politician, want to get along with everybody that dropped by the church so they can feel like they're inclusive. And they begin to tell them, well, it's not that bad, sir. We're going to get it together. And sooner or later, we need more jobs. You hear the stuff saying jobs, jobs, jobs. If you get more jobs, we can stop the bullet. The job can stop the bullet. Well, can it? We need more than just jobs. We need our own stuff. That's why white people must, especially those in office, in Congress and presidents, they need to pay us our reparation. And I say then, get out of our way. We can build our own black nation. Yes, we can. We was doing it in Tulsa. We was doing it in Rosewood. Just give us our money and get out of the way. and let us build our own black nation. We must chart our own course and not wait on white people to come and save us. Hear me, black folks. I don't care what church you belong to or what nation you belong to, what gang you belong to, what organization you belong to, what sorority you belong to, what fraternity you belong to. Ain't nobody coming to save us but us. If you wearing black skin, you in. We are one nation, one people, under God, ready to do the work of the King. And his name is Yeshua Messiah. It's time to get off of the wheel. We have been marking time for too long. We must come together and decide which foot we're going to use first to step into our black liberation. We must know that we cannot move into black liberation with a slave mind. You see, a slave mind cannot function in a free society. We must stop fighting each other over who's going to do it first. We must unify. We must not get to the point where we're arguing over who's going to get the credit. Who's going to get the credit for starting this? This is not a photo op. This is not a time for us to say, well, you know, he took a picture with that guy over there and I don't like him. We got to let the silly, childish mess go. We got to come under one umbrella, and that's black love, one nation building time. It's our time to build as we heal with each other. Now, something you got to understand. We must stop fighting each other and come together as a black nation unified under one flag. Well, what are the colors of that flag? That one flag is the red, the black, and the green, Pan-African. We have to think black. We have to organize as black. We can no longer wait on other people to come and save us. Yeah, they marching with you today, but they'll be coming against you tomorrow. We got to think black. We got to think about ourselves. The same thing was going on during the time of Dr. Martin Luther King, Reverend Jesse Jackson, Stokely Carmichael. We've seen this before. What I've learned over the years is that when other people join us, they disjoint us, because we want so much for everybody to love us, when the thing is, we must first come to love ourselves and build our own black nation. It's important for us to know that. As we cooperate with each other, we must learn to integrate our thoughts before we can truly be integrated as a community. We got to integrate our thoughts. It doesn't mean that because you are leading that you don't look out or try to receive other advice from other people. We must integrate our thoughts. We must come up with the best plan. We must come up with the best plan that's going to empower all of us, our black men, black women, black teenagers, black children, black babies, for 4 and 5 and 6 and maybe 8 generations. We cannot think selfishly as we go forward to build the black nation. It's our time to do it. It's our season to do it. We must get off of the wheel and build our own black nation. Let me say it again. We must get off of the wheel and build our own black nation, taking back our place, reminding the world of who we really are. I believe we can do it. I believe we have the stuff to do it. We've proven it, and we proved it with Rosewood. We proved it with Tulsa, Oklahoma. We're proving it right now in Ghana. We're proving it right now in Monrovia, Liberia. We're proving it right now in the continent of Africa. I believe not only can we do it, we must do it if we're going to survive. So black people all over the world, especially in America, it's time for us to get off of America's perpetual hamster wheel of gradualism, waiting on everybody to come and save us, especially white people. And they ain't coming. Stop looking for them. They ain't coming. We must get into our own neighborhoods and clean up our own cities. Stop our own murders. Stop this black on black violence. Yes, we say Black Lives Matter. The question is, do it? And if it does, we must begin to turn down those guns that come into our neighborhood. We should not be receiving any guns that come from NRA or from any group that are selling weapons to black people in these cities. be it Chicago, be it St. Louis, East St. Louis, be it California, be it Baltimore, be it wherever the guns are being sold. Because black people don't manufacture guns in our neighborhood. They are bringing the guns to us in order to help us kill each other. So the black movement of what God is doing for us, that's what I said, what God is doing for us, he's getting us together because he knows it's our time to rise. He knows it's our time to come together as a black people and do what we know we can do. We can heal with each other and build the nation as we begin to show one love to each other, one love, black African nation, black America, building time. And I believe when we do that, the world will see who we really are. So let's get together. Let's do it. Let's stop talking about it and be about it and make it happen. And if you can receive it and believe it, you're on the team. If you're black, you're on the team. But if you're black with a white mind, you may have to be readjusted and have to have your mind recalculated, because this is not the time for spies and people to come by to see what we're trying to do. We need people that are genuine, that want to see black man and the black woman and the family rise to be what God intends for us to be. Now may Yahweh bless thee and keep thee. May Yahweh make his face to shine upon thee and be gracious unto thee. May Yahweh lift up his countenance upon thee. And may Yahweh, yet redeem black people who live in America, give you, his sons and his daughters, his children, his divine peace as we heal with each other and build the black nation. God bless. Until next time.